Rumor has it that Princess Jean Xian, Lu Ruyan, is aloof and uninterested in men. On my first day back in the country, she left a kiss mark on my clothes. That same day, the kiss mark trended on social media. He glared at Zhang Wansan and said, "Look at what you've done." I innocently replied, "I was helping you. Otherwise, you won't be able to keep your sexual orientation, so get lost." I took off my sunglasses and pressed the top contact in my phone. The other end picked up instantly, asking what was going on. I heard a cold and distant girl's voice. I glanced at the flow of cars outside the airport. I spoke up. "I'm at the airport. Here's your chance to show off. Come pick me up at the airport if you have time. Then I'll call Gu Qingqing to come over." After saying that, I hung up the phone. Of course, that was a lie to him. After all, I didn't want to invite trouble. After leaving the airport, I hailed a taxi and got in. But unexpectedly, not long after, I was stopped by a Porsche. A familiar figure got out of the car, someone I hadn't seen in a long time. He knocked on my car window. I rolled down the window and smiled at her as I said, "Hey, Miss Lu, didn't you say you were busy?" She replied with a straight face, implying that old Lu asked her to come. "I'm not here by choice. I was forced to. But since the plane landed until now, I've only called him. No one else knows I've returned to the country." I raised an eyebrow. "Is that so? Then I'll give Uncle Lu a call." As I said that, I picked up my phone. She snatched it away, saying I didn't have to. After saying that, she turned around, taking my phone with her as she left. I opened the car door and got out. In a flurry, I grabbed my suitcase from the trunk. I shouted after her, "Miss Lu, wait a moment. Let me pay you for the ride first." My hand paused as I opened the car door. She walked a few steps to stand in front of me. Without even looking, she handed 50 yuan to the driver. I laughed and thanked Miss Lu. She glanced at me as she got into the car. I've known Lu Ruoyan for 12 years now. From when I was just a student to stepping into the entertainment industry, then to becoming an Oscar winner. He was by my side the whole time. Saying there were no feelings would be a lie. I also admit that I like him. 3 years ago, we actually dated. However, on the day, I went to the Lu family as his boyfriend. I heard Uncle Lu say, "Our son-in-law cannot be one of those shady people from the entertainment industry." Hiding in the corner, I felt like a rat in a sewer. One word from him broke me. That night, I booked a ticket to leave. I hastily announced my retirement from the industry. Ever since my parents passed away, Lu Jia has been helping me a lot for Lu Ruoyan's sake, and I'm very grateful. But it's precisely because the Lu family has always helped me that I feel more and more like Lu Ruoyan and I are from two different worlds. I thought that being wealthy would be enough. So I worked tirelessly to climb up in the entertainment industry. But in front of the Lu family, my achievements are insignificant. They could easily bring forth someone just like me. My pride from over a decade makes it hard for me to ask why. I also can't accept a relationship without a future. After going abroad, Lu Ruoyan called me many times. I didn't answer a single one. In the end, she texted me asking why I left without a word. Not even telling myself. I replied that I was just tired. At that moment, I was holding the phone, sobbing uncontrollably. In the end, I just wasn't worthy of her. That was the last message in our chat history. And so we ended like this. 3 years later, I rested my hand on the car window, watching the scenery flash by outside. Lu Ruoyan suddenly asked why I returned home at this time. I snapped back to reality and said I just felt like coming back. She chuckled lightly. "Can't make it abroad anymore." I turned my head and saw the slight contempt at the corner of his mouth. I nodded and replied to him, "Yeah. How does Miss Lu know that she is exceptionally clever?" He immediately turned cold and told me to stop disgusting him. I looked at her with disappointment upon hearing that. Well, it seems that the young lady looks down on my love. Love is also like Miss Lu keeping a beauty in her golden house. For someone's rumored romance for many years, even considered to be homosexual, it is evident how important he is to someone. Shut up, and if you say one more word, you can leave on your own. She sits next to me without mercy, but I am not angry, not in response to him, and I'll keep my mouth shut. After she finished speaking, she asked me again. "To be honest, this time when you return to your country, is it because you can't stay abroad?" I replied to him that it's not. He asked again, "So what are you back for?" Frowning and looking at me. I met his gaze. I smiled and said it's a secret. I don't even know why I'm back. Maybe it's been 3 years. She's still haunting my dreams every day. Since I can't let go, I have to face it. Lu Ruyan, Let's be well. Lu Ruyin brought me to her villa. I looked at the grand house in front of me. I teased her, Miss Lu, bringing me here. Aren't you afraid your little boyfriend will get mad? This is your love nest, after all. Miss Lu was helping me get my luggage from the trunk. Without hesitation, she replied, You can sleep on the street tonight. I immediately shook my head. I smiled. It's rare for Miss Lu to bring me here. How could I leave after being hidden away by Miss Lu? He shot me a quick glare at those words. If you don't want to stay, go sleep by the door. I chuckled but didn't respond to him. I lifted my foot and followed him to the door. I quickly noticed a pair of men's slippers in the shoe cabinet. I joked, Miss Lu, this pair of men's slippers reveals that your little boyfriend left not long ago. You just moved another man in. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? She let out a cold huff. She took the slippers out and placed them in front of me. Do you want to see whose size they are? I replied, Maybe our sizes are the same. My imagination was running wild at that moment. You can smell them and see if there's any foot odor left by the last person, or if it's just your own foot odor. He answered me while opening the door. I couldn't help but laugh at his words. She turned around and asked, What are you laughing at? I won't tell you. She ignored me and pushed the door open to enter. After wandering around the room, I finally realized Lu Ruyin has everything arranged. He prepared many pairs of toothbrushes for two, double cups, and a made bed. I sincerely said thank you. He nodded in acknowledgement. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Lu Ruyin drinking water from a cup. In that moment, it felt like I discovered something. Miss Lu, this cup looks just like mine. It's a couple's design. I leaned against the doorframe, smiling subtly as I watched him. He paused for a moment, but his expression remained unchanged as he replied, It's just a buy one get one free deal. I nodded in understanding. Miss Lu has also started being frugal. A cup only costs a few yuan. Miss Lu is so budget conscious that she opted for the buy one get one deal. I smiled at her. Upon hearing this, her footsteps quickened as she entered the room. Without any hesitation, she walked into the room. She slammed the door shut with a bang. Before closing the door, she tossed out a line, You talk too much. After I got everything settled, my agent Zhang Tong just called me. He said Wan's son is hosting a party at the Su family tonight. He sent an invitation asking if I would go. I was lying in bed thinking I wouldn't go. I just got back and I'm tired. But then I remembered it's Su Qing's event. He helped me a lot back in the day. Fine, I'll tell him I'll go. He replied okay, and then hung up. After hanging up, I got up and knocked on Lu Ruyan's door. A voice came from inside asking what's up. I said I'm going to a banquet tonight. Just wanted to let you know before I head out. After a while, Tyan made a sound, which was his reply. Half an hour later, I just opened the door. I saw Lu Ruyan already changed into her gown. She told me, Aren't you going to change? You can walk over by yourself later. I paused for a moment and replied with a smile. Considering how eager Miss Lu is to help, I reluctantly did it. An hour and a half later, I changed into a suit. When I opened the door, Lu Ruyan was watching TV in the living room, bored out of her mind waiting for me. The moment I opened the door, she looked at me. In that brief moment, our eyes met. I saw her eyes light up, but she quickly looked away again, muttering that it was slow and ugly. Yet her roots had already turned red. I smiled and approached her, asking, Is that so? If the suit doesn't look good, why are you keeping it? Didn't I tell you to throw it away back then? She didn't turn around to hit me. I just forgot to throw it out after packing it up, hearing that I felt enlightened. So that's how it is. I thought Miss Lu had kept it for me on purpose. Oh, turns out I was just being overly sentimental. Actually, was it supposed to be thrown away? I could see it at a glance. The suits in the wardrobe are neatly arranged. Not only are there no wrinkles, but they even have a pleasant fragrance. You can tell they've been carefully maintained. Someone is still as stubborn as 3 years ago. In fact, today's Lu Ruyan is completely different from 3 years ago. 3 years ago, he used to like running behind me, acting like a total show-off. Only in front of strangers would he be like that. Today's attitude is cold and distant, sly and sharp-tongued. But the special treatment he once gave me has ultimately faded away without a trace over time. I got into Lu Ruyan's Rolls-Royce dressed in a suit. After Lu Ruyan got in, the driver drove us to our destination. Familiar scenery flashed by along the way. Scenes that are hard to imagine. After 3 years, I'm back here again. Back then, I fled in a panic. Now, I find myself fearless. Let's just break the pot and smash it. After all, If I can't afford to lose face, I'll just go abroad again. I turned my head to look at Lu Ruyan beside me. She was leaning against the car seat, resting with her eyes closed. After a long while, her lips moved. How much longer do we have to wait? Hearing this, I glanced at her ears, which were flushed. I leaned closer to her ear and spoke. I don't want to watch anymore either. It's just that Miss Lu's ears are flushed, which I've never seen before. After I finished speaking, I noticed her body stiffen visibly. Then, the partition in the back seat was raised. He shifted away from my direction. He replied to me, "It's a natural phenomenon." Afterwards, I saw her ears turn even redder. Her face started to flush as well. He noticed something was off himself, turning his head towards the window, hiding his face as much as possible. I smiled faintly, turning my head to continue looking out the window. Half an hour later, Lu Ruyan's car drove into the Su family's garage, turning to see that the entrance to the banquet was already crowded with various journalists. After Lu Ruyan got out of the car, she glanced back at me, who was moving slowly. She asked if I wasn't leaving yet. I replied, "You go ahead. It wouldn't look good if the media caught us together." Upon hearing this, his expression changed slightly, but he decided to go with me. Then he took a big step away. Watching his retreating figure, I sighed helplessly. I also wanted to stand beside him under the flash of cameras, to appear as her date. But today I had just returned to the country. If I were to be photographed with Lu Ruyan, who knows what rumors might spread? That would surely annoy the Lu family. There's no rush. Take your time. After Lu Ruyan walked for a while, I slowly appeared in front of everyone. The moment I showed up, I heard the stand-up comedy stop. Then I heard someone weakly ask, "Is that the best actor, Zhang Wansen?" I looked up and smiled at him. It was indeed Zhang Wansen. The next second, the stand-up comedy resumed in full swing. 3 years ago, my sudden withdrawal from the industry sparked a lot of discussions. Then I disappeared after going abroad. Now I've suddenly reappeared. For them, this is definitely the highlight of the night. After being in this circle for so many years, I still know what the media wants. "Mr. Zhang, why did you withdraw from the industry 3 years ago? What are your reasons for appearing again now? Mr. Zhang, may I ask if your return to the country is to make a comeback in the entertainment industry?" Questions came one after another. I lowered my head and smiled lightly as I replied, "I'm sorry, but I can't answer those right now. I really can't provide any answers at this moment." And then I stopped caring about the voices behind me. I headed straight into the banquet hall. As soon as I walked in, I saw Lu Ruyan. She was chatting with Su Qing about something. He turned to look at me. Su Qing followed his gaze and looked at me. In just a moment, Su Qing's eyes brightened. "Oh, Wan's son, you finally made it. Sister Qing, long time no see. 10 years ago, he was the one who brought me into the industry. Thanks to him, I was able to stay in that cutthroat circle for so long. So I'm really grateful to him." I smiled and said, "Sister Qing, I came to your banquet on my first day back in the country. Isn't that quite considerate of me?" He nodded in agreement. "Or is it just that Wan's son treats me well? Unlike Lu Ruyan, who just sent him over to make up the numbers. They say you won't come, right?" I was momentarily taken aback by his words. He replied, "Yeah. At first, she said she couldn't come. Then I don't know how she ended up talking to me again. TSK, 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 you young folks. The plot's too old for me to understand. Especially since you two are apart. I just can't grasp the tricks between young couples." Su Qing had me laughing nonstop with just a few words. I quickly spoke up. "Sister Qing, you need to watch your mouth. Well, in the eyes of outsiders, Lu Ruyan and I are just two unrelated people. If the media heard this, it would be a disaster. And besides, we're not even together right now. It's too early to call ourselves a couple, but I'll take Sister Qing's good wishes." As soon as I finished speaking, Lu Ruyan, who had just gone to get the red wine, came back. She asked, "What's making you all so happy?" I chuckled and said it's a secret between me and Sister Qing. She scoffed and said, "Who cares?" Saying that, she took a sip of red wine. Then she turned to find someone else. Due to my sudden return home, many old friends from the past were surprised to see me at the party. They all came over and exchanged a few words. There were also quite a few old rivals who came over to make a few jabs, but it was all just harmless banter. I thought to myself as I lowered my head and took a sip of red wine. When I looked up again, I saw a familiar figure. The wine glass in his hand clinked against mine. He smiled and said, "Long time no see, Emperor Zhang." I smiled back, saying, "It's been a busy night for me too." In response, Guingho said, "We're all in the same boat." But compared to Emperor Zhang, I still felt a bit lacking. I watched Emperor Zhang all night, but couldn't find a chance to chat. So I took this opportunity to approach him. Guingho joked, and I noticed she was busy chatting with the younger guys all night. She was indeed preoccupied. Where's the time to watch me? I'm already 30. An older man can't compare to the new boys in the circle. It's truly hard to look away. I'm complimenting him this much. He heard this and scoffed disdainfully. What's the use of being good-looking? They're all like faces. They can't even shed a few tears in a crying scene. It's a waste of time. As he finished speaking, I made a shushing gesture. I smiled and said to him, "After the show, there are too many eyes around." He understood my meaning, knowing that words can bring trouble. He smiled, nodded, and clinked his glass with mine. Just as our glasses touched, another glass came in. I looked up to see Lu Ruoyan, who I didn't notice had arrived. She smiled coldly, her lips curling slightly. "What are you and the Shadow Emperor chatting about? Can I listen in?" I turned to Gu Qingqing. "What were we talking about, Guingho?" He followed my lead, shaking his head in confusion at Lu Ruoyan. "Nothing much. We hadn't started when you arrived, Miss Lu." Upon hearing this, Lu Ruoyan's face visibly darkened. "If you haven't said it, then don't say anything." It sounded a bit gritted, and then he turned to look at me. "Wait a moment," I shook my head at him. "No, there are too many people around. I'll have my manager come pick me up. Just wait a moment. I'll take the nanny car back." She nodded at the words and turned to leave. But her expression looked even worse. After Lu Ruyan left, Gu Qingqing looked at me in surprise. "You two are living together, right?" I smiled sweetly. "As I heard from Guing, are you two together?" She asked again. This time I shook my head. "It doesn't count. She is my benefactor. I am the prized pet kept in his golden house." I said this with a smile and put down my glass, leaving Lu Buqing alone in a daze. The benefactor who pays for my taxi fare. How is that not a benefactor? It all depends on how he interprets it. But before I go home, I have one more thing to do. I took out my phone and sent a message to Lu Ruyan. It wasn't long before he appeared in front of me. She asked me with a troubled expression what I was doing. I pulled him aside to a secluded corner. I smiled at her and said, "Miss Lu, your dress is dirty." Hearing this, she looked over. Before she could finish speaking, she tried to leave. I quickly grabbed her. I pointed to her invisible back. "Let me help you wipe it off since you can't see it. After all, such a beautiful person like you. The media will be taking photos when you go back. We can't let your dress come back looking like this." I stepped forward and pretended to pat a few times. Then I wrapped my arms around her upper body. Taking advantage of her distraction, I leaned forward. Before she knew it, I left a lip mark on my suit. "Hee, sorry, my hand slipped a bit. You better move your hand away from me." I turned around to give her some space. She immediately turned and left without looking back. I said to his back, "Miss Lu, you're going the wrong way. The entrance isn't over there." Hearing this, he paused for a moment. He lowered his head and hurriedly walked across. Seeing this, I couldn't help but chuckle. After the banquet, the media snapped photos like crazy. Afterward, my agent drove me back to Lu Ruyan's villa. As soon as I opened the door, I saw Lu Ruyan with a dark expression. "Zhang Wanson, look at the good job you've done. You better explain this to me. What is this on your shirt?" As Miss Lu observed, "It's a lipstick stain. Do you know that the #1 trending topic right now is this lipstick stain?" Lu Ruyan looked at me, furious. I calmly opened my phone to check the trending topics. Zhang Wanson's suit lipstick stain. The lip print is suspected to be Lu Ruyan's. She asked me, asking why you would leave such a mark. I asked you why you did this. The media thinks you like women. I need to help you prove your innocence. Just get lost, okay? I smiled and nodded, then turned back to the fire escape. It actually stirred up trending topics online. Soon several lipstick shades shot up the trending list. The media was speculating wildly. Who left the lipstick mark on my clothes? The guesses were all over the place. The next day, around 9:30 a.m., I planned to get up and see what lunch to make for Lu Ruyan. Based on his usual routine, he wouldn't get up until noon. There was no point in making breakfast if he wouldn't eat it. Thinking this way, I never expected Lu Ruyan to get up earlier than me. He even made me breakfast. So when I saw the busy figure in the kitchen, I was stunned. "I'll bring it to you." Lu Ruyan brought breakfast to the table. He looked up at me with a calm expression. I came back to my senses at his words. Leaning lazily against the door frame, he spoke. That's not impossible. Suddenly, I remembered that saying. Those who are favored have nothing to fear. Maybe I hold a slightly different place in Lu Rian's heart compared to others. She glanced at me with a raised head. Don't act up here in the morning. Eat if you want or not. Saying this, she sat down at the restaurant by herself. It seemed she really wasn't planning to come and hug me. Well, there's no rush. There will be plenty of opportunities later. I collected my thoughts and walked step by step to the restaurant. I sat down in front of him. As soon as I sat down, he said, "Don't get the wrong idea. Making breakfast is because the aunt hasn't arrived yet." The implication being that if the aunt were here, I wouldn't have gotten up to make breakfast for you. I smiled and nodded at her. I know Miss Lu doesn't like me staying over. It's because I have nowhere to stay. The cups that look like couple sets are buy one get one free. Making breakfast for me is because there's no maid. I understand, and it's enough that you know I heard her. The action of drinking milk hasn't stopped. We had a quiet meal. After I entered the room, it took me a while to suddenly remember. I just went out to make lunch for Lu Ruyan. Ugh, this brain of mine. I opened the door and went out again. But this time the kitchen was already empty. It was already past 11 o'clock. Cooking rice takes too long. I might as well just make some noodles. I reached for the eggs and noodles from the fridge. As soon as the water went into the pot and hadn't boiled yet, I heard a voice behind me asking, "What are you doing?" I opened the button and instinctively replied, "Making you lunch." Only after I said it did I realize what I had just said. I turned to look at him and added, "As a thank you for making me breakfast." He let out a cold snort, hoping she could eat well. Then he left after drinking some water. Actually, Lu Rian knows my cooking skills very well. After all, I've cooked for her many times before. But this woman is just stubborn. At exactly 12:30, I served the noodles on the table, and she came out of her room right on time, complaining that I was too slow. I replied, "Miss Lu, this is made with love. So just wait a little longer. Otherwise, if it's too quick, Miss Lu won't be able to taste my love." Then I smiled at her. She met my gaze and hurriedly looked away. Glancing around, she replied, "Just a bowl of noodles." Saying such grand things, no wonder he's the emperor of acting. But this is made by me. Besides Miss Lu, I've never cooked for any other woman. What does it have to do with me? That said, her ears turned red. Innocent Miss Lu is being flirted with online. At the dining table, I found a moment to tell Lu Ruyan. In a few days, I will be attending an awards ceremony. I wanted to let you know in advance in case you're not around. He nodded but didn't say anything. A few days later, when I was about to leave for the awards ceremony, Lu Ruyan was indeed not around. To be honest, I hadn't planned to attend the ceremony today. But sometimes Lu Ruyan gets so busy that I can't find her. Being alone is really boring, and I was worried I might lose my mind. So I decided to go out for a stroll. Besides, I need to go out to run into Meng Jiang. I remember he was the male lead in my last movie before I retired. It's been 43 years, and he's the only one brave enough to stir up rumors with Lu Ruyan. I have to go see him. I thought about getting into the car that was already waiting at the door. The day I accepted this invitation to the ceremony, the official announcement put my name at the very front, promoting it widely. So as soon as I arrived at the venue, the flashes from cameras came pouring in. I adjusted my dress, smiled, and greeted the cameras. In the crowd, I couldn't tell which media company's reporter it was. Suddenly, I was asked a question. "Zhang Yingdi, you have reappeared in front of everyone. Are you planning to make a comeback?" "It depends. Zhang Yingdi, I heard you withdrew from the industry 3 years ago due to emotional troubles. Is this true?" Hard to say. "Zhang Yingdi, what do you think of the new young stars in the entertainment industry?" As more reporters started to ask questions, I waved my hand, saying that I couldn't answer these questions for now. Let's talk about it next time when we have the chance. After that, I turned and left the red carpet. One emotional issue is already enough for them to make a big deal out of. The moment I saw the seats, I couldn't help but flinch. On my left was Lu Ruyan, and on my right was Gu Qingqing. Organizer, was this intentional or just an accident? Fortunately, Lu Ruyan hadn't mentioned she would come, and Gu Qingqing's official account had already replied saying she couldn't make it due to scheduling. Otherwise, with the tension in the air, if both of them were here, this battlefield would have been impossible to set up. I thought to myself and let out a sigh of relief. But the relief hadn't fully settled. I heard someone say good evening from the left. On the right, It's Zhang, the actor. What a coincidence. We've met again. Good evening. Such a coincidence. I put on a fake smile and sat between the two of them. I had already thought of how to ask someone to switch seats. The next moment, a senior I knew from before walked by. I subtly signaled him with my eyes. He glanced at me and gave a look that said, "Good luck." I noticed the little girl I had brought along. She looked at me and shook her head in panic, waving her hands. Then she walked away without looking back. After a long while, no one was willing to switch seats with me. Lu Ruyin chuckled softly in my ear. "Give it up. No one wants to switch this seat with you." Her tone was quite teasing. I was just saying hello. "Miss Lu, what are you saying? I don't understand." "It's better if you don't understand." Hearing this, I silently sighed inside. Sure enough, you always have to pay back what you owe when you're out and about. You always have to turn your back to others. Fortunately, no one knows about my relationship with Lu Ruyan. Otherwise, with this seating arrangement today, the cameras would be glued to the faces of the three of us. The ceremony is starting soon. According to the schedule, there will be speeches followed by awards. Honestly, there's not much to see. I rested my chin on my hand, bored, watching the crowd come and go. Suddenly, a name caught my attention. Best Actor of the Year, Meng Jiang. Let's give a round of applause for Mr. Meng. Winning Best Actor at just 28 years old is truly remarkable. He has a bright future ahead. As the host praised him, I raised my hand to applaud as well. Achieving this at 28 is indeed impressive. Then I saw Meng Jiang come on stage in a white suit. But I have to say, we were the same outfit. Aside from the color, the design of the suits is quite similar. It's a real coincidence. I picked up my phone to take a look. I just realized that the headlines are all about us. I just didn't check my phone earlier, so I didn't notice at all. When two people wear the same outfit, one of them is bound to get hurt. I lowered my head slightly to cover my mouth. I spoke to Lu Ruyan. In this day and age, the high fashion Lu buys is everywhere. This dress was sent to me by Lu Ruyan a few days ago. I heard I was going to the awards ceremony. I didn't expect to run into it today. I turned my head to look at Lu Ruyan. She frowned and spoke. "I don't know what tricks he's up to this time." I smiled and replied, "He's trying to get your attention, so just ignore him." She coldly responded without hesitation. I nodded and made a gesture to zip my lips. On stage, Meng Jiang started to give his acceptance speech. "I want to thank all the judges for recognizing me today. And I also want to thank my fans and family for their support along the way. I will definitely create more works in the future to give back to everyone. But today I mainly want to express my gratitude to one person." As he spoke, his gaze turned towards me. Oh, I shouldn't say that I looked over at Lu Ruyan next door. I am very grateful that Miss Lu was able to give me the chance to play the role of four men. Only then was I able to stand here today. If it weren't for Miss Lu giving me this opportunity, I cannot stand here and cannot receive today's Best Actor award. I am especially grateful to Miss Lu Ruyan. After he finished speaking, the camera on the big screen turned to Lu Ruyan. I smartly moved aside a bit. As a result, this camera teacher doesn't know if they're causing trouble. "You have to take me in." Now it's good. I am sitting together with Lu Ruyan. And Meng Jiang thanked Lu Ruyan on stage. What's even more deadly is Lu Ruyan's dress today. It looks like it's a matching set with my suit. But I collided with Meng Jiang. Sister is used to the ups and downs and doesn't care anymore. My heart has turned as cold as ice. I smiled and looked at the neighboring Lu Ruyan. I gave her applause and tried my best to perform. I don't know her, yet the host insists on speaking. Oh dear, I really can't bear to watch this scene. Actor Zhang and Miss Lu are sitting together. They really look like a couple. Even their outfits are so well matched. But Mr. Meng is not to be outdone. His outfit is surprisingly similar to actor Zhang's. Looks like actor Zhang's legacy will continue. The host smiled at me cheerfully. I smiled and nodded. Indeed, everyone is here for a good time. Tonight is all about fun. I smiled and responded. I can't compare to Meng Jiang. He looks so handsome in white. I can only wear black to look slimmer. As soon as I finished speaking, the crowd burst into laughter. The host continues the conversation. Zhang, the actor, is being modest. If it weren't for the black color, how could it look so good with Miss Lu? Even their seats are together. I heard you two aren't very familiar yet. Why not take this chance to get to know each other? I reached out my hand to Lu Ruoyan. Miss Lu, seeing you in person is better than hearing about you. Today, I must say you truly exude elegance. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Zhang Wanson. He reached out to shake my hand, thumb included. Behind the camera, Mom is saying to me, "Zhang, the actor, I've long admired you." I looked up and met Lu Ruoyan's gaze. Our eyes connected in the air. There was an unexpected hint of ambiguity. They've clearly been eating and living together for 12 years. Yet today, they have to perform this act of meeting for the first time. Life is indeed a play, all relying on acting. All eyes in the room are focused on us. Even the camera is fixed on our faces the whole time. But there's still Meng Jiang standing on stage. I smile and finish the introductions. "Host, please let Meng Jiang come down and sit for a while." The whole audience bursts into laughter again. An award ceremony ends with the trending topics of me, Lu Ruyan, and Meng Jiang in pairs. Meng Jiang thanks Lu Ruyan. Zhang Wan's son and Meng Jiang both in suits. Zhang Wan's son and Lu Ruyan in couple outfits. Zhang Wan's son and Lu Ruyan keep generating topics. The trending list is almost completely taken over. I look at the trending topic about Zhang Wan's son and Lu Ruyan's couple outfits. I just feel overwhelmed. I just returned to the country, and I'm already shipping with Lu Ruyan. And doing so much. What will Uncle Lu think when he finds out? Will he think I did it on purpose? My heart is in a mess. I called out to Lu Ruyan, who was about to go back to her room. "Why didn't you tell me you were going to the ceremony tonight?" He looked at me with a puzzled expression. "Do I really need to inform you about attending a ceremony?" I was at a loss for words. I changed my question and asked why you didn't tell me. "You have a suit that's similar to the one I'm wearing, and you wore it to the ceremony." We ended up sitting next to each other. It's hard not to raise suspicions if others see us. She shrugged nonchalantly. "I only have this suit left from the company, and I haven't had it cleaned. As for your suit, I bought it when it was on sale. The color scheme was nice, so I got it. Who could have thought so much? Every reason seems reasonable. But how did this strange coincidence come together?" I helplessly rubbed my forehead. What should we do now? If Uncle Lu finds out, he'll definitely get angry. What can we do? After some time, the heat will die down, right? I looked up in surprise. "Aren't you going to take down this trending topic?" He asked me back with a calm expression. "Why should I take it down? You call the shots." I took a deep breath, feeling frustrated. Then he suddenly asked me, "Did Zhang Wansen wear a suit that matches yours to mock you?" I weakly replied to him, "No, it's just complicated. I just got back and I'm already dealing with this nonsense." And Uncle Lu hates people like that the most. After returning to my room, I felt dead inside. I lay on the bed for a while. My agent, Zhang Tong, called me. He opened with bad news. "You've been blackened." I looked confused. "What got exposed?" "Someone said you knew you would be in the same frame as Miss Lu. You privately ordered the dress." I didn't expect to match with Meng Jiang. Moreover, Meng Jiang's side has already released the purchase records of the dress. I was suddenly enlightened upon hearing this. Indeed, his response is more genuine than pearls. "All right, now I know how to handle this." I cheerfully hung up the phone. Since Meng Jiang and I have the same dress, then Lu Ruyan and Meng Jiang are, in a way, a couple's outfit too. I can say I really like this dress. I didn't expect my imitation to end up as a couple's outfit with Lu Ruyan. This way, I won't provoke Uncle Lu's disdain too much. I happily opened my social media platform and wrote an apology letter. I sincerely apologize for the huge attention the dress caused tonight. I just thought this dress was beautiful. And when I found out it was out of stock, I customized it privately. I didn't expect it to be a couple's outfit with Miss Lu Ruyan, just like Mr. Meng Jiang's style. I apologize to everyone here. Sorry for disappointing you all. I smiled as I posted the apology letter. Quickly trending on social media. 10 minutes later, Zhang Wansen's apology was already trending #1. I just didn't expect that at the moment I was about to turn off my phone, Lu Ruyan suddenly sent a voice message. I remember he posted something like this last time on social media. It was still during college. What is she posting today? I'm puzzled. I opened his voice message, which was just a few seconds long. I was almost scared enough to end up in the hospital. Lu Ruyan posted a purchase record. It clearly listed the payer's name, along with the product name, time, and other information. What's worse is that he attached 2 pictures. One is a close-up of the embroidered gift on his suit sleeve at the ceremony. The other is a picture of my dress at the ceremony, with the inconspicuous ginger embroidery on my shoulder. You can't see that character unless it's enlarged. Now I've really been hit hard. I quickly deleted the apology letter. I opened the door and went to knock on Lu Ruyan's door. "Lu Ruyan, why did you post that statement?" Do you even know? He opened the door from the inside. My confidence instinctively weakened. He stood at the door, casually asking me, "What should I know? Go ahead. Tell me what you think I should know about not posting that statement." His voice was soft and faint. I admit I got scared the moment Lu Ruyin opened the door. Why can't I say anything? He raised an eyebrow and looked at me in confusion. Because I stammered for a long time, not knowing how to explain. He interrupted me directly. "Because you don't like it. You think I'm putting you down. What does that have to do with me? Whether you like it or not has nothing to do with me." The next second, the door slammed shut in front of me. I stood there, feeling like something was stuck in my chest. Since returning, we have not talked about the past. But today, it seems he wants to bring this matter to the surface and share his feelings. Lying on the bed, I stared at the ceiling. I just want to get rid of the trending topics that are all about me and Lu Ruyin. Lu Ruyin bought couple outfits for Zhang Wan's son. Miss Lu and Zhang Wansen's relationship. Zhang Wan's son is quite thin. What's worse is that during the ceremony entrance, my response about whether leaving the industry had anything to do with my feelings was also edited in. Netizens exclaimed that they were shipping it. And I want to say, my life matters too. All right, Lu Ruyin's statement. I directly wasted all my efforts. I even put myself on the grill. I can already imagine what Lu Uncle would say if he knew. How angry can one get? I might just get blacklisted. And then I wouldn't even be able to afford a meal. It was a miserable night. I slept fitfully, afraid that Uncle Lu would call and I wouldn't answer. But surprisingly, nothing happened. The trending topic didn't get removed. No calls came, nothing at all. I felt infinitely grateful. I got my life back. So I became even more cautious. I avoided all commercial performances and events. Every time I went, I ended up trending again. And every time I bumped into Lu Ruyin, it drove me crazy. I don't know what Lu Ruyin thinks of me now, but I feel like living has lost its meaning. So when Zhang Tong called to ask if I wanted to attend a magazine awards ceremony, I directly declined, nodding and saying okay. Right after I said okay, I suddenly heard the assistant's voice on the other end of the line. He wouldn't even show up for $1 million. What's with the million? I suddenly sat up in bed. Zhang Tong replied, "Yeah, right. The brand said they know you're busy, so they'll pay $1 million. They just want you to help out at the event." I immediately responded, "I'm in for that. Are there any other well-paying events? Find them all for me, I'll go. I might be the one getting kicked out any day now. I need to save more money." I hung up the phone. Zhang Tong sent me a picture. It had various event fees listed. They ranged from hundreds of thousands to millions. I told him to print money starting from the most expensive. I'll never complain about having too much. A few days later, I received clothes sent by the brand. According to Zhang Tong, these were specially customized for me. And they even hired a top designer from Milan. There's a character Zhang on the collar. It's just that I've learned from past experiences. Now when I see this character, I think of Lu Ruyin's bold moves. There's no emotion in my heart, just indifference. As soon as the time came, I boarded the chauffeur-driven car to the venue. I arrived just in time, like someone walking the red carpet alone. I appeared with a smile, greeting everyone. But my smile froze the moment I saw Lu Ruyin. He kept a calm expression and nodded slightly at me. It was a casual greeting. Yet the media shouted Lu Ruyin and Zhang Wan's son. "Quick, quick, quick, take another picture together." Had I known he was coming, I wouldn't have shown up. Haha, I stood in front of him with a fake smile. What suffocated me more was that my seat was right next to his. His coat matched my outfit today. It was like a couple's outfit. Sure enough, upon seeing that character, I knew nothing good would come of it. If our first meeting was a coincidence, then the second time was still a coincidence. And it was after we had already trended online. The second time, I realized I had been tricked. This is all Lu Ruyin's scheme. As soon as I sat down, he leaned over. He smiled and spoke to me. "Do you like the outfit worn by the Emperor Zhang?" His voice was just right, neither too loud nor too soft. Everyone present could hear it. I managed to force a smile. "You like the unique gift from Miss Lu, right?" I thought as a clueless young lady. Wearing matching outfits with Emperor Zhang would lower his status. After he finished speaking, I wanted to punch him. I didn't say anything last time, but this petty woman, still holding a grudge, I smiled back at her. "Miss Lu, you're just joking. With Miss Lu's status and wealth, being with her is me trying to climb higher." Hearing this, she chuckled lightly and didn't say more. I was forced to perform in front of the camera. And Lu Ruyin just needs to have an ordinary face. I really hate this. Before long, the ceremony finally came to an end. I tilted my aching head back. Just as I stood up, a boy suddenly charged out. He pushed me aside with his hand. Then he leaned in front of Lu Ruyin and shouted, "Hey, why didn't you tell me you were coming too? If my dad hadn't told me he invited you, I wouldn't have known." It was only then that I realized the boy in front of me was the son of the organizer's boss. But what does that have to do with me being pushed? I even sprained my ankle. I silently swallowed my anger. Hobbling, I was about to leave. Suddenly, a shadow loomed over me. I looked up and saw Lu Ruyin had come over without me noticing. And that boy was still following her. The boy kept asking her, "Sister, wait a moment, do you have time? Shall we go eat together?" Lu Ruyin didn't even glance at her. She stood in front of me and asked what happened to my foot. As I walked and winced in pain, I replied to her, "I just twisted it after being pushed." The fool lifted my arm the next second, supporting me as we walked out of the venue. The sound of cameras clicking immediately filled the air. The media reporters who were about to wrap up their work were practically wearing their cameras out. I prided myself on having seen big scenes before. Even when I bumped into Meng Jiang, I didn't mind. But when I returned home this time, seeing Lu Ruyin and actor Zhang being intimate on trending news, I just knew I was completely done for. No need to struggle anymore. The Lu family must have found out this time. I sighed helplessly. Lu Ruyin came over with a first aid kit. He reached out and pressed on my ankle. I immediately shouted, "Ouch, ouch, ouch, be gentle." He replied, "You know how to feel pain. I thought you were tough as iron. You twisted your ankle and didn't even call out to me. You just limped off on your own. Is it that if you really can't walk halfway, you'll have to crawl back by yourself?" Lu Ruoyan was applying medicine to me while complaining about me. I could tell from his tone that he was exasperated. I smiled and asked her, "Miss Lu, are you feeling sorry for me?" Her hand paused for a moment, and then she pressed down harder. "Ouch, ouch, ouch. If you keep talking, it's going to hurt even more later." I listened and looked up at him. The evening sunlight was just right, streaming through the floor-to-ceiling window, casting a glow behind Lu Ruoyan, just like when we first met back in the day. She walked towards me in a white floral dress against the light. In that moment, I lost my mind and directly asked her, "Lu Ruyin, do you still like me?" She didn't stop what she was doing with her hands when she heard that. She didn't say anything, her lips tightly sealed. I couldn't tell what she was thinking. It wasn't until I snapped back to reality that I realized I had seemingly asked something I shouldn't have. What does that even mean? Doesn't that just imply she liked me before? But she liked me before, and I ran away without a word. What does that even count as? Ugh, I'm just bringing trouble upon myself. I shut my mouth and didn't dare to speak again. Since returning from the magazine event, I directly messaged Zhang Tong. "Don't contact me if there's nothing, and especially don't contact me if there is." I can already guess what the headlines will say. I can even imagine what the netizens are saying. I turned off my phone's network. I can't bear to look at the opinions online at all, let alone looking at trending searches. Even a fleeting television entertainment program. I am afraid of appearing up there. In a few days, Lu Jia should block me. As for where I should go from here, I don't know. I looked at the large and empty house in front of me, feeling a tightness in my chest. A thunderclap suddenly flashed across the sky. I shuddered subconsciously. Look at the clock on the wall. I just remembered that it's around this time usually. Lu Rian should be back. If you don't come back soon, it will rain heavily. I nervously looked out the door, waiting for her to come in through the door, as usual. 1 minute, 2 minutes. The heavy rain outside the window arrived on schedule after 3 minutes. Like pouring down. But Lu Ruoyan hasn't come back yet. I sat in the living room, anxiously watching the clock on the wall and the doorway. I'm scared that he might have had an accident. Half an hour later, the door was finally opened by someone. I quickly ran over. I saw half of a body that was already soaked. I asked anxiously, "Why did you come back so late? Was it an unexpected encounter with a spirit or monster on the road?" He shook his head, put a bag in my hand. "Your favorite late-night snack shop is open just right tonight. I was delayed for a while passing by the queue. You didn't even look at what I said, so casually. It seems like something extremely ordinary." My hand holding the bag stiffened. Why still queue up if it's going to rain? Even I can hear my voice trembling a little. "Because I know you'll have a craving for pig at night." She calmly replied to me with a sentence. I swallowed back the words that moved me. This is not the first time I have experienced Lu Ruyan's sharp tongue, but every time, I find it impossible to argue against what is right. Forget it, considering he went out in the rain today. I'll let it slide since he bought me a late-night snack. I sat down on the sofa chair with the late-night snack in hand. Out of the corner of my eye, I caught a glimpse of Lu Ruyan taking off her wet clothes. I couldn't help but steal another glance. Her wet outer garment was being removed, and the white shirt underneath was clinging tightly to her skin. I watched as her hands undid the first button of her shirt, then the second, but her hands didn't move afterward. I was puzzled about why she stopped. The next second, I had to see what would happen next. I looked up, and she was staring directly at me, caught red-handed while peeping. I chuckled awkwardly. Isn't Miss Lu's figure great? I wouldn't look at anyone else. I just don't look when I'm always eating late-night snacks. After saying that, I tried to look away. She spoke up, wanting to see herself undress, which was something she could say. My hand holding the chopsticks started to shake. Can I take it off anywhere? Actually, I just said that on a whim. I didn't want Lu Ruyan to underestimate me and think I wouldn't dare. And Lu Ruyan has been like an innocent little puppy all these years. She can accept this kind of talk. So after I said that, seeing he didn't respond, I was ready to eat. But it turns out you can take off your clothes if you want. His tone was laced with a hint of flirtation and full of mischief. Oh no, I've really dug my own grave. But the words are already out. If I refuse now, that would mean I'm cowardly. I steeled myself and walked up to him. He opened his arms as if to say he would let me do as I please. I trembled as I started to unbutton his third button. Don't shake your hands. The voice came from above my head. Hearing that, my face started to turn red. But he felt it wasn't enough. He added fuel to the fire. He directly took my hand. He taught me step by step how to unbutton her clothes. That's how it's done. 1, 2, 3. I finally managed to get the top off. I immediately let go, as if I had been electrocuted. Why don't you try other places? I instinctively looked down. Then I waved my hands repeatedly, saying no more. I thought that was enough. As soon as I said that, I was ready to run. Lu Ruyan grabbed my shirt. Did you just take off my clothes as a form of reciprocity? I turned back and shook my head vigorously, denying that reciprocity. Is it inappropriate to use that term right now? What does it matter if it's suitable or not? Then I ended up having a late-night snack on Lu Ruyan. She said she was going to take a shower and ended up on the bed. Sigh, it's all my own doing. And Lu Ruyan settled the score for past grievances as well. In the early hours, I cried to her about 3 years ago. Why did you leave? By the time I woke up the next day, the bed was already empty. I got up and finished washing up and saw Lu Ruyan cooking lunch. I reached out and hugged her from behind. She smiled and asked if I was tired. I leaned against her back and replied, "Not really. That's good." In the evening, Lao Lu invited us over for dinner. I was taken aback and mumbled a reply. He noticed something was off in my tone, turned around, and hugged me, saying, "It's okay. I'll handle it well. I believe that those who are meant to come will eventually come. Avoiding it won't help." Standing at the door, I took a deep breath. I put on a smile that looked as normal as possible and pushed the door open. As soon as I entered, I saw Uncle Lu watching TV in the living room. The TV was showing my retirement as a female guest. I averted my gaze and stepped forward, calling out, "Uncle Lu." He turned his head to look at me when he heard my voice. Immediately, he smiled and said to me, "Juan's son is here. Finally willing to come see this old man. I thought you weren't coming." I wouldn't dare not to. I just haven't had time since I returned to the country. I only have time to come tonight. I know that big stars are busy. You don't have time for this old man. Oh, Uncle Lu, you're so young. If I'm an old man, then I'd be a middle-aged uncle. Hearing this, he finally laughed out loud. Only you can make me happy. Unlike Lu Ruyan, day after day, she only knows how to cause trouble for me. As Lu Ruyan returned from parking, she heard this and retorted, "Old Lu, don't talk nonsense. I brought a son-in-law back for you." I looked at Lu Ruyan in disbelief. And this is how it started. Uncle Lu asked, "Where is he?" Lu Ruyan nodded her head towards my direction. "Isn't the one in front of you just me?" Nervously, I looked at Uncle Lu, afraid he might faint on the spot. But I already knew this when I heard it. "I thought you brought me your sister's boyfriend. Why is the plot twist not right?" Lu Ruyan also knew what I was confused about. She directly helped me ask, "You don't mind that Juan's son is from the entertainment industry?" I immediately lowered my head upon hearing this. I didn't dare to look into the other person's eyes. Even to this day, I'm still a bit timid. Who would have thought Lou Uncle would respond? What does one's son do in the entertainment industry? It hasn't been easy for him to walk this path in acting. How could I not know? I was lost in thought as I listened. It was at the dining table that I learned. Lou Uncle's words back then were to reject Meng Jia. It was Meng Jiang who wanted to marry Lu Ruyan. The two families were to become in-laws. So Lou Uncle found an excuse to turn them down. So I worried for years for nothing. I cried for a long time. This time, I've really embarrassed myself. Lu Ruyan certainly didn't hold back either. She just spilled the beans about my situation. Uncle Lu burst out laughing after hearing it. I was blushing and extremely embarrassed. Although the process was bumpy, I finally ended up with Lu Ruyan. Using my official retirement press conference as the occasion, I announced this matter. I want to thank my fan friends for their support and companionship along the way. Together, we've weathered storms for 12 years. The emotions and hardships of these 12 years, you've all walked with me through. I am truly grateful. But all good things must come to an end. Separation is the norm. Starting today, I will officially retire. I will no longer return to the entertainment industry. Thanks again to the fans who have accompanied me all the way. Thank you all. Without you, there would be no me. I stand up and bow deeply to the camera. Then I look up at the camera and smile, saying, "Feel free to ask me anything now. I'll answer to the best of my ability." Mr. Zhang, may I ask why you left the industry twice? For my own life, I suppose. I know what I want now. So, will you consider working behind the scenes after retiring? It depends. I might. Mr. Zhang, do you have any inside scoop about the industry you can share? Hearing this, I immediately smile and reply, "You're quite bold, aren't you? But this is your job, so I won't take that from you. However, regarding my marriage to Miss Liu, I wonder if that counts as gossip for you." As soon as I finish speaking, the venue erupts in commotion. Mr. Zhang, is what you said true? A female reporter looks at me excitedly and asks, looking towards the side where Lu Ruyan stood quietly among the crowd. "Miss Liu, people are asking if it's true or false. Do you want to come out and answer?" Hearing this, she walked out from the crowd. The scene instantly erupted in screams. He walked over and directly wrapped an arm around me and kissed me in front of everyone. I was stunned, staring at him blankly. I heard him speaking to the media present. As long as they send their blessings, each person gets 11 words. The enthusiasm at the scene surged. People shouted from the audience, "Lady Liu, may you have 100 years of happiness. May you have children soon. Lady Liu, may your love last forever. From today on, I will be your exclusive editor, Lady Liu." The vows at the wedding were very simple. Lu Ruyan said to me, "Zhang Wanson, I am marrying you. Just because some other woman, Xiaoyu, bought you a late-night snack, doesn't mean you can just run off with her." After she finished, the scene burst into laughter. Even I couldn't help but laugh. I replied with a smile, "From now on, I won't eat late-night snacks bought by anyone but you." Suddenly, a voice came from the audience. "What about the ones bought by Uncle Lu?" The audience burst into another round of laughter. I simply replied with a smile, "I won't eat anything except for that from your Lu family." The audience started to cheer. I took back my smile and looked at Lu Ruoyan, speaking seriously. "To be able to marry you is my lifelong fortune. To be able to marry you is my great honor." The end.